Sit down, please.
Thank you, Mr. Merkin.
I come straight to the point. I've heard great things about you. Your pronounced skills at GMAC and the way you generate so many loans to meet the demands from Wall Street, especially from Goldman Sachs and Deutsche Bank. Tell me, how do you do it?
Let me get right to the point as well. It's going to take more than a few minutes to explain it. I cut my teeth with the first one in the game, Long Beach S&L, before WAMU bottom. And I learned early on from the Wall Street boys that this is not about loyalty. It's just a job. I went from New Century, IndyMac, Merrill into B of A bottom because there are big home loan needs in the Sunshine States. You know, where there are rapidly rising real estate values. When housing prices run up the most, they've got to fall 30-50% in the following years. Wall Street and the rating agencies, they want lower middle class America chasing the American dream. Thin FICO scores, no-doc, low-doc loans. They bundle up, short them, and wait patiently for the market to crash and Joe the plumber to default on his loans. Credit card debt, auto loans, home mortgages. Oddly enough, Wall Street calls them asset-backed securities. You know that term, don't you, Miss?
She then explains the details to Ezra. It's really very simple. The best part is that the White House, Congress, and federal regulators are 100% on board. We've got them in our pockets. We've got a green light to pull off the biggest heist in history. And after we steal trillions of dollars, we can claim with a straight face that the banks are victims and get even more money from the government. Talk is cheap, so tell me, what is the deal? We use other people's money to fund loans that we sell at a profit. We keep the right to service those loans and make money while the borrowers pay. We give subprime loans to everybody, even the borrowers who qualify for a prime loan. That way the borrowers have to refinance their loans every couple of years, and we get to make a profit when we bundle and sell those loans. We drive the price of real estate through the roof until the bubble pops. And then everybody with a loan ends up owing more than the property's worth.
These guys are evil. They take people's homes.
Daddy, does this mean that I have to have all new friends?
They steal their dreams.
At that point, we stop refinance and start foreclosing. And by the time we are done with our foreclosures, we keep all the money from the sale of the property at foreclosure. So what's in it for Goldman, Deutsche, HSBC, and the other Wall Street banks? They have the SEC juiced so that they can get trillions of dollars from hedge funds, public employment retirement systems, pension funds, even sovereign wealth funds like the governments of Iceland, Greece, and other countries to fund loans. None of the money of these loans comes from the Wall Street banks or servicers like GMAC or Countrywide. You know the golden rule. Always use other people's money. Goldman, Deutsche, HSBC, and the other Wall Street banks set up trust and sell interest in those trusts to the suckers like pension fund managers and state treasurers, and then use their money. But before the Wall Street banks use the money to fund the loans, as much as half is skimmed off the top. How can they skim the money off the top without anybody noticing? Because the SEC doesn't care, and the money managers for the pension funds and the hedge funds get such large bonuses for the first year's profits that they don't even read the disclaimers in the prospectuses filed by Wall Street banks with the SEC. Since the prospectuses contain warnings and disclaimers that immunize the Wall Street guys from lawsuits when the bubble pops, these sophisticated investors are stuck with the warnings and disclaimers. They can't win a lawsuit if they later sued for fraud. Okay, so Wall Street banks steal money from the investors before using what money's left to fund the bad mortgages on property at artificially increased prices. Exactly. And GMAC, Countrywide, and other servicers profit from originating and selling and servicing those shit loans until the borrowers default and the properties are foreclosed on. That's right. Did you say at that point GMAC then steals the houses and keeps the money from the sale of the foreclosure? You got it. See, the mortgages are sliced into so many pieces that when the foreclosure happens, none of the investors has any way of knowing if they're entitled to the proceeds of the foreclosure sale. Bottom line, it's the middle-class borrowers who get hurt, not the institutional investors or their money managers securing their fat year-end bonuses. We'll never have to pay the piper Since the government is bought, nobody goes to jail. I like it. I'm in. In the old days, we used to have to lie to make money this easily from suckers. But in America, you can steal money in houses in broad daylight with the U.S. government seal of approval. Ever since Wall Street bought the U.S. government, this truly is the best country in the world. Here's a kicker, and you're going to love this. You know the loans that Goldman, Deutsche, HSBC, and the other Wall Street banks are funding with the investors' money? Well, at the same time, the Wall Street investment banks are selling those loans to the suckers who come up with the money to fund the loans. Goldman and the other banks are shorting those loans so that when those shitty loans fail, the Wall Street banks make an average of 20 times the face value of those bad loans.
Remember all that talk about derivatives? Michael Moore said that no one could explain it. Well, here it is.
Those bets are called CDOs. Even AIG is in the game. And we do the same thing. We bundle and sell the worst possible loans, so we not only make money at foreclosure on the loans, but we also make money when the loans we service go into default. That's where the government will have to step in to pay us on the bets we made that the loans would go bad. That's not possible. Why would the government pay you or Goldman for a bet you made that the loan would go bad? Not only is it possible, but it's guaranteed. Hank Paulson from Goldman is running Treasury, and his buddy Geithner at the New York Fed are on board, claiming the world financial system will fail if the banks get stuck with paying for these bad bets. Geithner guarantees at least $16 trillion in Fed funds to the banks to cover the bets. So if a $500,000 mortgage goes to foreclosure and Goldman has 10 CDOs from GMAC and GMAC has 10 CDOs from Goldman, the Fed will pay Goldman $5 million for Goldman to pay GMAC for its bets and $5 million to GMAC to pay Goldman on its bets. And then GMAC steals the house, sells it, and keeps the money.
As long as we in Wall Street continue to have MERS as our veil, shielding all the counties and all the states from this jackpot, we save billions.
Wow, this is better than sex. If I could, I'd steal this deal for myself.
Oh my God, I get it. I get it all. Let me take this to my board next week and I'll get back to you. If they react to your knowledge the way I think they will, there will be a nice package for you that would convert you from a person who just does a job to a loyal and significant member of our team.
I will consider what you bring back to me.
Ruth, yeah. What do you think we've made so far this year? Higher. No, higher.